Welcome to Confessions of a Terrible Leader, where real leaders share the raw truth about the lessons they learned the hard way so you don't have to. Join our host, Layci Nelson, founder of Transcend Leadership Collective and former terrible leader. Every leader can become worthy of being followed if they are willing to put in the work. On this podcast, we share the messy stories and behind-the-scenes reality of what the work actually entails. We welcome you to this community of revolutionary leaders who believe honest communication, healthy conflict, and building cultures of acceptance, respect, and trust are not only possible, but non-negotiable for cultivating world-class teams.
That has been a goal I have been working intentionally towards, allowing myself to feel emotions and process them and sit with them and not try to fix them.
And here's the part. I'm gonna just break this for you because I've obsessed about this for 20 years to figure out how to fix myself.
Yeah.
I don't even try to process them. I just feel them.
Yeah.
Because here's the reason I lost the game.
Yeah.
When I was processing them, I was asking why. Why doesn't matter because it's already in the past. The only thing that matters is what's the new behavior. Why is what creates the rumination mess in the first place. Here's the thing. I ate the chocolate cake. It's not going to uneat itself. If I had 20 minutes to think about why I ate it or 20 minutes to go for a walk, which one's going to help me get rid of the chocolate cake?
Right.
It's the same thing. The reason it gets so challenging is because we're so conditioned to not feel. It's react, right?
And reinforced for it.
And celebrated for it.
Yes.
Celebrated for it, right?
Yep.
But here's some things that I say is everybody obsesses about looking at successful people's morning routines, right?
Yep.
And I'm like, great, you copy the routine, but you stop looking for the things that are there. But here's what you'll find. You'll find a correlation between the amount of success they have and the amount of time they spend alone.
Yes.
Go look.
Okay. I'm hearing, I'm like, I invited you on, said, what do you want to talk? Are you willing to talk about one of your biggest mistakes you've made in your leadership journey that has impacted you the most? And so we're just been unpacking exactly that for
I'm telling you all of them.
Yeah, all of that for the last 40 minutes. And so one of the things that I'm just to put it in a wrapper, the wrapper may not be right, a synopsis. You tell me if I'm hearing you, how you want the message to be received. Is the biggest mistake that you have made, or the one that's impacted you and shaped you the most, was you didn't know how to be still with yourself.
Yep.
How to allow yourself to really feel.
Yep.
And how to find your identity in the core of who you were and who you are in those internal things that aren't about what is shiny and looks good to people on the outside and about your production.
That was so good and so close. I'm going to paint it a little prettier from my side because I absolutely love it. I love it. Yes. The biggest mistake I made was building myself to everybody else's version of me and wondering why I was getting unhappier and more resentful towards my own life and behaviors and taking it out on the people around me, which affected everything, instead of always remembering that we are nothing without the people around us, and they are the only thing that matter at every level. There is only two ways to get fired in my company. You lie to me and you steal from me. Everything else is a leadership challenge on me. Because if I hired you, I made a commitment to be your family, and I meant until death do us part, or you get a restraining order. And so with that, the only thing that I would say that was missed is also I fell in love accidentally by proxy with the fact that there was a finish line and that it was somehow about the goal. And here I am to tell you that the faster you fall in love and truly accept that it is only about the process and nothing more than the process, Revenue is a result. It is not something that's manifested or created. You have to add two things together to create result. That's the process.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you look at the revenue, you stop the things in the process that created it in the first place. And the same thing in your behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the people when they win a world title fight, you can tell by the interview if they're going to lose the next fight or win it. Because one of them says, I'm going back to work tomorrow, and the other one says, I'm going to party tonight.
Mm-hmm.
One of them thinks they made it, the other one didn't. And so for me, it's understanding that who you are as a person, who you are as a leader, who I am as a leader, isn't who I was yesterday or who I'm going to be tomorrow. It's just who I choose to be today.
Mm-hmm.
And the only evidence I need is making sure that I give myself measurable, tangible evidence that I made decisions and deposits for my future today. That's the goal every single day. And it has to come from a place of alignment. It has to come from a place of heart. It has to come from a place of you, or else it's going to kill you and eat you to absolute pieces. And so for me, the way that that's expressed now is like raw authenticity, vulnerability. Like leadership is an example. It's show, don't tell. And for me, I feel like the lowest ranking person in my company. Like I feel like I do what I'm told every day. I'm like, and I feel like I learn every day. Like I'm just humbled to be around them. But like the thing is like the things that made us successful don't ever go away. The hard part of the game is that we have to keep doing those same things forever and then go deeper and deeper and deeper into them. And mastery can get boring, and it's our job to make it fun.
Yes.
So that's how I would summarize my message.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
so much.
What a great conversation.
Yeah, I'm learning, and I'm excited our listeners are getting to just really dive into all of this today, and hopefully they're asking themselves some hard questions. So if we were
easy questions.
Yes. I was going to ask you, what is one or two questions that you want to leave our listeners with that they should be asking themselves in that stillness on a regular basis?
I'm sorry for doing this, but I'm going to give you one. I'm only going to give you one.
Oh, go for it. One is great.
And this is for everybody. And listen to me, everybody. This question has been breaking my brain since the day it was asked to me by a personal development coach 12 years ago. And so think about this question in the lens of anything that you're looking for clarity on, you're struggling with, you're troubled by, even if you're triggered in this moment right now. Okay? I don't know why this one works, but the question is, what am I pretending not to know? Or what am I pretending not to see?
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right now, if you sit with that question on a piece of paper long enough, when you have challenges, it will fill itself in. I also want to make an incredible book recommendation for everybody around leadership and thinking, because question prompts and things like that are incredible. But I think what's more important than what questions to ask is you thinking differently rather than using my questions. And there's a incredible entrepreneur. His name's Keith Cunningham. He wrote a book called The Road Less Stupid. I highly recommend the audio because he narrates it himself.
Okay.
This man is worth probably close to $1 billion at this point, and he has done it all. But the book is not like a cover to cover read. It can be, or it's chapter to chapter, and it's all individual lessons. And he has this concept called thinking time, and it's absolutely incredible. But I'd say that like the two big parts of that question is that question is the best prompt that I can ever give you in any bucket you ever do. But then on the other side of it, when it comes to stillness and thinking, they're completely two different things. Stillness is allowing yourself to just be. It's allowing you to just be in process. And even when, and I'll give you a tip, because my brain, I'm a vision guy, right? I think of every idea all the time, right? Yeah. And a lot of people always want to write those things down, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget. I'm going to forget. I'm like, you never forget if you're supposed to remember. So here's my rule.
Yeah.
If I have the thought for the third time, I'm allowed to write it down.
I like that.
And then when I write it down, I have rules as well, though.
Okay.
If it gets written down, it has to be written down as a complete idea. So if I file it away and I find it a month later, I'll know exactly what it was. And if I don't have that, it can't get written down. Because if it's not there, it's not clear enough to go in the pantry.
Yeah.
It's still sitting out here in I need more thinking time, right? So there's thinking time and just allowing yourself the space to be, to exist, to tune into yourself, to tune into your body. But then the other side is the thinking time around tapping into that same energy, but under the lens of a creative solution and really forcing, for lack of better terms, divergent thinking on yourself. Not so linear, right? Not so what I knew, but how is this possible, or how could this be done, right? And so I think they're really, really big distinctions, but if we want to take it to a fortune cookie, right, it's like measure twice, cut once, like plan before you act and execute, right? Like I think a lot of people were so inundated now with instant gratification, boom, 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 that they skip the part of the process that makes the foundation that allows it to work.
Right. Or it can even be a response to fear. Because scarcity mindset.
Facts. And here's the funny part. Doesn't matter why.
Yeah.
It's just the funny thing. And I'll leave you this because I know we're wrapping. I think this is good for leaders because this was taught to me at a men's event by John Wineland, and it's around integrity. And integrity is very, very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a very unhealthy relationship with the definition of integrity because this is how it was explained to me. And I mean this in the lens of leadership, both for how we lead ourselves, meaning I can set my floor and ceiling every day. And no matter how good, no matter what, something in life might happen. And yes, I may have made an excuse and I'm going to miss it. The only thing that matters is that when I catch myself missing it, is that I just say, oh, okay, well, when can I get back on the bike? Number one, right? And then I just get back to riding again, right? That's the most important part. And the way that integrity was described to me is that integrity is things in our life, in our business, in our world that are very, very important to us that we want to look a certain way. But they're all out of integrity if we're not currently focusing on them, because we can only be in integrity with the thing in front of us. And so, like for me and you right now, in the lens of your goal to have a podcast today, me here, we are completely in integrity. But if you called my 6-year-old son and asked him where he wanted me to be right now, he would want me to be in Mammoth with him. So I'm out of integrity with him. And then if you call my daughter. And so I use that as a tool for myself because it eliminates all the rumination area of like, well, I should have done this and I did that. Like, well, no, because I couldn't have been doing all those in this moment anyways, because I didn't even think about it. But now that I have it, it's which one am I going to do right now? Right. And that's the name of the game. It's a series of constant, intentional, and integrous action around parts, bites, and pieces. And some of them are going to be out of whack and from the back. And then you're going to triage it and be like, oh yeah, I shouldn't do this one anymore. Put the fork down. The cake didn't put itself in my mouth and go for a walk. Right. And then other ones are like, oh, these ones work great. Let me keep these and do more of these. But it's just these series of bite-sized steps. And so if you watch the movie What About Bob? You win. Baby steps.
Yes.
And I love that you get that reference. Not many people do.
I do. Thank you.
Somebody told me I was 28 the other day, and do you know how happy I was?
Oh my gosh. I get so excited. If people even think I'm still in my 30s, I'm like, oh, thank you.
I'm like, my daughter graduated high school last year.
Fred, I had kids late, and so I have later in life. They weren't late; they were right on time, and so
good reframe.
So they were. I often, they'll look at me and assume my children's ages, and either that or they are trying to figure out if I'm the mom or the grandma. That I'm just gonna go with no. They're just gonna group me younger.
Well, and my son is 6, so we have 19 and 6.
Yeah, right? That's a split.
Yeah, so I have both sides. So they see me with him, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're like 28," and then they see me with my daughter, and I'm like, "No, I'm not a creep. That's my daughter. She's 19. Yes, no, that's not ours. No.
Yeah. My brother has the same split. He's got 4 kids, and he's got the same bookends. And
no. We did get a built-in best friend and babysitter, so leadership equation part handled on that part too. We even had it on the home front.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for being on today. One last thing before we officially wrap. Where can people find you?
Yeah. So you're probably in one of two buckets. Either you're probably all in the same bucket that I belong in a straitjacket in a padded room. But good news is I've already been there and they let me out. So now I just teach it, right? The easiest place to make it really easy, if you want to see the pinkest website that matches the shoes, by the way, if you're watching this, it's mindofgeorge.com, M-I-N-D, like mind, your brain, of O-F, and then George.com. And then the podcast is linked there. It's called The Mind of George Show. Everything is there. My Instagram's there. But if I can do anything to support anybody, that's how to get a hold of me.
That is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So much. And I look forward to. I think we could have gone for hours. So
we could. I would have done this all day. I would have done an entire seminar. I'm like, we were basically just framing a leadership seminar.
Yeah, we did. Well, we'll have to have you back so we can continue the conversation.
Now that everybody has the awareness, we'll come back with the behaviors and the distinctions on how to put this into practice. And it was pretty good. Thank you so much for having me. And for everybody listening, thank you for giving me the one thing I can't get back to, which is time. So I hope it was well spent.
Thank you.
Thanks for being part of this community of revolutionary leaders who believe honest communication, healthy conflict, and building cultures of acceptance, respect, and trust are not only possible, but non-negotiable for cultivating world-class teams. If one-to-one coaching, engaging workshops, or strategic planning that is actually useful are anything that interests you, make sure to head over to www.transcendleadershipcollective.com to check out our free resources. Confessions of a Terrible Leader is hosted by Layci Nelson and produced by Mary Scott. Music is by Leif Olson and Mary Scott from the band The Number of Months. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, go manage like a leader.